Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulullah wa ala ashabi ajma'in amma ba'd. I welcome you all back to another episode of Hadatha Maisi. Now, inshallah for today, this episode would be longer, as you can see, 7 minutes, 18 seconds. So, inshallah, this episode could be long, but it is a very important episode as well. Let's see. Bismillah.
حدث معي في زيارتي لقطر. زرت سنة من السنوات قطر بدعوة من بعض الأخوة الذين كانوا يزوروني في الكويت. زرتهم عددهم قليل لأن السيطرة الدعوية في قطر للأخوان المسلمين وللتبليغ، أما السلفيين فلا يكاد أن يذكروا. وأعطيت بعض المحاضرات، وفي امرأة كبيرة بالسن سمعت بقدومي إلى قطر فأرسلت إلى الأخ الذي استضافني على الرقم المنشور أن هل من الممكن يزورنا الضيف ويعطينا محاضرة للنساء في المركز.
So, Sheikh Salem Taweel Hafidahullah, once he went to Qatar. The story is that one of the people who is basically like one of the coordinators of basically of that event in Qatar, basically is that like in Qatar there was an event where basically Sheikh Salem Taweel delivered a lecture to women. So basically, there is an organization, a charity organization there, and of course, Sheikh Salem Taweel said that he wantedly didn't mention the name of the markaz or that place. So in there, basically, the daughter of the founder of that organization, basically, she herself is basically in her 70s, old woman. So she basically invited the Sheikh Hafidahullah. So her coordinator basically on the posted number which is there below on WhatsApp invited the Sheikh Hafidahullah that could you basically come to Qatar and basically deliver a lecture to the women. So then let's see what Sheikh Salem Taweel Hafidahullah says. Alhamdulillah.
قال استأذني، قلت نعم ما في مانع. طبعا هنا الاتصال ما كان من المرأة، من الموظف اللي في المركز، موظف أخ من الجنسية المصرية. تمت الموافقة أني إن شاء الله تعالى أزورهم في الجمعية في المركز هذا وأعطي محاضرة للنساء.
So Sheikh Salem Taweel Hafidahullah, basically the one of the basically the students of Sheikh Salem Taweel or admins of Sheikh Salem Taweel spoke with the employee over there who is of Egyptian nationality on the phone. That would you come? So basically Sheikh Salem Taweel accepted the invitation. That yes, I will come and deliver the lecture to the women.
الأخ المفاوض سأل أخانا اللي أنا ضيف عنده، قال الشيخ إيش طلباته؟ يعني كم طالب ندفع له عشان المحاضرة؟ قال عندنا طلب واحد، وهو قال لا يريد أن يحاضر للنساء وجها لوجه. النساء حضور كبير كان، يعني ضعوا فقط يعني حاجز مكبر الصوت توصل المحاضرة.
So Sheikh Salem Taweel Hafidahullah basically like the person who invited the Sheikh Hafidahullah with who basically the basically whose guest he was in Qatar. So basically the one of the employees or one of the people who is the coordinators basically said that what are the basically requirements of the Sheikh? The Sheikh is Talabata. What does Sheikh want? And pointing out towards the money. That's how much money does he want. So basically this person, this brother who is basically like a host, like of the Sheikh Habibullah Khatar, said that we have only one request. What's that? That the Sheikh doesn't want to deliver the lecture in front of the with the women wajhal liwaj, basically without any barrier. So put a barrier. So then they said yes, we'll put the barrier, not an issue.
قال طيب خلاص ما في مشكلة، خلينا راح نعمل له حاجز، بس كم يعني الشيخ كم طلباته؟ قال لا ما في طلبات. بدون طلبات؟ محاضرة بدون فلوس؟ قال محاضرة بدون فلوس، محاضرة بس المهم. قال له خلاص نضع حاجز.
So of course now that coordinator was shocked when of course after that then coordinator said yes, we will put the a curtain, not an issue, but still what are the, because what the money. So then this it was then basically again this brother said no, there is no money or nothing, so no money for the lecture. So basically that coordinator got shocked. And then he said, not an issue. We will put the curtain, as you said. Then let's see what happens.
رحت والمركز ضخم جدا، أثاثة ومجلس وشيء كبير. فالأخوة المصريون اللي في الإدارة قال هذا المركز لفلان، أنا ما أذكر اسم المركز، مش ما أذكره لا أريد أن أذكر الاسم. وقال النشاط الرجالي ما في أحد. فبنت صاحب المركز الله يرحمه عملت النشاط، وهي امرأة كبيرة يعني، عملت النشاط وقامت تعمل ايش؟ تستضيف، تعمل محاضرات للنساء. اما العمل النشاط الرجالي ضعيف جدا.
So Sheikh Salem Taweel Hafidahullah basically says that the markaz which he went there, right, was very like big and huge with all the furniture and all of that. So basically the Egyptian brothers there who work as employees there, they said that this basically markaz, this association has been formed by so and so individual. Of course, the Sheikh Salman Tawil said that I know the name, but I don't want to mention that. Then Sheikh Salman Tawil says that the one who is coordinating or organizing this basically now is the daughter of the founder of the markaz. And she is also basically an old woman. So the basically the men's activity is less basically in this markaz, but the women activity is a lot. Basically, like there are lectures for women and basically like lectures get delivered in this markaz for the women. But for men, there is nothing that much which is going on, which goes on in this markaz.
طيب أنا بدون مقابل، فالجماعة جزاهم الله خير من كرمهم قال بما أنه ما مش طالب أي مقابل، على الأقل نعمل له عشاء. انتهت المحاضرة نستأذن، قال لا، يدعوك فلان ابن صاحب المركز ورجل كبير بالسن 70 يعني على العشاء، لأنك أنت يعني وافقت وعملت محاضرة في مركز. جزاك الله خير. قال لا، ضروري لازم ينتظرك للدعوة. قال طيب.
So Sheikh Salem Tawil Hafidahullah then says that I delivered the lecture, and after delivering the lecture we sought permission to leave. But still they basically, since we didn't charge them anything, they basically insisted us to have dinner with them. Basically the son of the founder insisted to have dinner basically, and he is in his the guy is old and he's in his 70s, so he insisted basically through one of his coordinators to basically have dinner with him. So let's see what happens.
خذني معاه في السيارة اللي اسمها رزرايز، هذه رزرايز كذا او رزرايز كذي. هي المرة الوحيدة اللي ركبتها بحياتي رزرايز، هي المرة هذه الأولى والمرة الأخيرة ما ركبت بحياتي. والله كشخة سيارة ما شاء الله روز رايز. فهذا الأخ المصري يسوق فيني.
So Sheikh Salman Tawil says then after basically like as we went out, there was a Rolls Royce waiting for us. That's the car Rolls Royce, and of course, Sheikh Al Mutawi says that it is a very like luxurious car and so on and so forth. And that's the only one and the last time, and only last time, one time, and the last time which I have basically sat in a Rolls Royce. That's it. So of course now basically like the Egyptian brother who was working, who basically was there in the car with the sheikh, basically like fools around with.
قال لك اخذ يسرد لي اسماء الكويتة المشايخ اللي يجون المحاضرات بفلوس عندهم. قال فلان وفلان دائما يجينا ادري كم قال طايحنا بربيع، رزرايز وفلوس عشان المحاضرة. سبحان الله العظيم.
So the Egyptian brother starts to then mention Kuwaiti names, basically the Kuwaiti du'at out there who basically come to this basically association and deliver lectures to the women, and they come basically deliver lectures with XYZ money, with XYZ basically amenities they want. This is their expectation, like we want XYZ basically amount, XYZ basically car and so on and so forth for the lecture. So and XYZ hotel and so on and so forth. Basically, like these du'at out there, well-known du'at from Kuwait, they do so. And of course, basically, this Egyptian brother says that so and so always comes to us, so and so always comes to us. And of course, Sheikh Salem Mutawi didn't mention the names of those people. But
ذهبت إلى العشاء، كل الحضور من جناسة عربية تقريبا إلا قليل يعني قطريون، صاحب الدعوة وأبنائه يمكن. فقال لي أحدهم، قال لي فلان تعرفه يعني اللي يأتي للمحاضرات؟ قلت لي معروفة. قال دائما يجينا ويحج معانا وإلى آخره، إلى أن صار له ظرف سحب جوازه، بعدين افتكر رجعوا جوازه.
so Sheikh Salem Mutawi Hafidahullah then says that once I reached there, most of the people who were there were of basically different various Arab nationality, except maybe few of them were Qatari. Like basically the person who invited him and his son. Other than that, all of them were basically people from various Arab nationalities. Then Sheikh Salem Mutawi says that like in there it was said to him that the XYZ individual from Kuwait comes with them and does Hajj with them until recently when basically the nationality was stripped away from. And of course, as Sheikh Salem Mutawi is recording that, he is mentioning it. Then Sheikh Salem Mutawi himself says, "Iftakin annahum raja'u jawad." Then basically Sheikh Salem Mutawi says that I think most likely his this XYZ person's nationality has been given back to, revoked. It was it was stripped away from him. Then it was revoked back to.
هذا الشخص رايح راد قطر، وإذا المسألة فيها فلوس ودفع ويقولون دعوة. فسبحان الله هؤلاء شديدون جدا على من ينكر عليهم ركوبهم للدعوة من أجل المال.
Allahu musta'an. And this is the point which I myself also fear basically. Even for myself also it is a very testing point, to be honest. Sheikh Salem Taweel says that like these people whose names has been mentioned, like they come back and forth to Qatar only because the issue is money. إذا المسألة فلوس. It's all about people being concerned because they only come back and forth not for the sake of Allah, but for what they would get paid long time. And of course, someone like me also who is basically developing this institute, a Sharif Institute, it is a very like a thin line for me also along with that. Because it's very important that we are able to basically, whenever the issue of money comes in da'wah, right? And it is given precedence over the da'wah, right? Then the da'wah is correct. Allah Musta'an. Of course, we agree that basically, it's the da'wah should be done free, no doubt, 100%. But there is something exclusive which you want to give, with exclusive service which you would provide. For that, being paid is not a problem. Now, Sheikh Saleh Fawzan Hafizahullah basically was asked a question that is it okay for you to be paid for teaching Quran? So Sheikh Saleh Al Fawzan Hafizahullah, he said, and Al Hadith كما قال Rasul عليه الصلاة والسلام, like the best of the ujur, basically best of the payments is the payment which is given to the person who teaches the Quran. Of course, basically the someone like us who basically has an institute also should be very like reasonable with the fee out there. That's also is very important, and that's why the way which I operate in my institute, is that I ask the age and profession of the people, so that I could cater as per their time and budget. Yes, so that basically I am able to fulfill the right, and they also are able to basically dedicate themselves accordingly, so that they also don't feel burdened. That's it.
ما تجدهم إلا محاضرة بفلوس، محاضرة فندق وسيارة، محاضرة تعطي النسبة فلانية. حتى أن بعضهم يختلف مع الداعي على المبلغ، لا يساوم كم تعطيني ومعي مرافقين وكذا وكذا، مثل طريقة الأجانب. الأجانب لو واحد يأتي يقول قصة حياته ولا توبته، واحد مطرب ولا لاعب ولا مشهور، يقص للناس كيف تاب وكيف كذا، الدخول بتذاكر وبالمبلغ الفلاني، ويكتب معهم عقد عند محامي ان القي المحاضرة الفلانية تدفعون المبلغ الفلاني. يعني مثل حفل غنائي ولا حفل يعني مسرحي، هكذا يفعلون.
Allah Musta'an. And I believe this point which Shaykh Salem Taweel has mentioned is quite relevant in the West. Allah Musta'an. It's basically these du'at, what they do is like basically whenever they would deliver lectures, they would say that we want like a hotel, a car, and sometimes they would say that we want basically the XYZ amenities because it means my team behind me and so on and so forth. We basically want you to basically handle all the expenses of everyone. This is it. And not only normal expenses, even basically like give as a basically 5-star hotel, 7-star hotel, and so on and so forth. And it basically at least and then Sheikh Al Mutawwil says it is like the ajanib, basically like basically a person who uh, like repents and basically comes to the straight path from being a musician, from being a singer, and so on and so forth. And basically in such events, basically you have tickets, paid tickets. This is non-stop. So like as if it is a concert or something, or as if it is like a musical party or concert or something. So of course, my brothers in the West, if you guys are, you know this very well, Allah Musta'an, you guys would be aware that basically like they start for example, like let's just say like 100K dollars have been raised in an event for Palestine. So you'll find basically this Da'iya who comes into this event taking 50K away, 50%. That. And of course, those brothers in the West, like most of them, who would be working as a in delivery, part-time jobs, this job, that job, less of it. And they are basically putting money in the name of Palestine here, and that money is being used for these God's amenities. Lomstar. Like there is a very famous event of some famous individuals whose name I would mention without any fear. Abu Taymiyyah, may Allah guide him. Mufti Mek, may Allah guide him. Doing events light upon light. That's it. And of course, I'm not saying that basically like everyone out there does so, but most of them do so. A lot of them. That's it. So basically, whenever you see like basically huge events out there, light up all light, ISNA, all of that out there, know that there is issue, there is money being taken by these du'as. Huge lump sum amount of money. That's it. And of course, my brothers in the West, my brothers and sisters in the West are witness to this. And even back when Zakir Naik was active, right, and even until recently in the Qatar event and whatnot, basically, even Zakir Naik guy also used to do that when he had Peace TV and all of that. Because Zakir Naik, because of the way he would operate, the way he turned commercialized the dawah, it caused issues in Muslims. That's it. Because of it, basically, like he was caught, there were charges of money laundering against him and XYZ charges against him. This is it. So basically, in short, all of these du'at whom you find out there, basically who have these huge stages out there, right? It's not that they basically put their own money. It's people's money which they use. That's it. Because da'wah is not supposed to be commercialized in this way. Da'wah, right, should be in the masajid, in the madaris, if not online, like how we are doing. With our small budget, with this basically phone camera, this headset, this is it. And basically, like you could say, maybe like a 3 to 500 USD laptop. That's it. Long stand. So I hope basically like dawah could be done with low budget. That's what I'm saying. That's it. So Sheikh Salem Hafidhullah is also basically mentioning about it. Let's continue.
وذاك لما تجد انت مثلا بعض الناس اللي يشوف جمهور كبير ويدعو الاسلام ويناقش النصارى مثل الدكتور الهندي اسمه ذاكر افتكر، هذا ترى مو ببلاش، شتوا كراسي وحضور ورجال ونساء كله بالاموال، ما يدخل المناظرة لا تماما كانوا داخل مسرح يدفع لي مقابل. وهذا رأيته بنفسي، أنا ذهبت إلى بريطانيا وإلى أمريكا يدخلون المحاضرة بفلوس، لأنه ما في وزارة أوقاف هناك ولا في لجاء، كل هذا دفع، كل المشتركين يدفعون، فيعمل محاضرة يجيبون ضيف وتذاكر وسكن على حساب هؤلاء ويأخذون نسبتهم. طيب هؤلاء الأجانب هناك في أمريكا في بريطانيا، أنتوا ليش رايح قطر تأخذ فلوس؟
Now, of course, Sheikh Salem Taweel Hafidhullah, basically like the things which I have mentioned to you guys about like and all of that, which Sheikh Salem Taweel has mentioned that and said that basically to these du'at in Kuwait, that basically since they don't have a basically Ministry of Awqaf, basic Ministry of Endowment, basically in the West, because in non-Muslim countries there is basically no ministry specifically. That's except my country, India, by the way. Let me tell you. Because we have a basically Ministry of Minority Affairs on its own. That's it. We have even a budget for minorities, waqf basically budget and all of that. But of course, generally speaking, in the West you don't have that case. So that's why whenever you see even a small event, also sometimes basically like the ones who they would be people who would be contributing. That's it, to the event. That's not an issue. That's it. Basically that you gather up money, contribute to an event which happens. That's not an issue. The issue is why are you taking basically like lump sum amount of percentage and money? That's the issue. That's it. It's not an issue basically for you to basically get paid person. That's not an issue. But the issue is don't make it the main priority. That's very important. That's it. I hope people understand that. That of course this is a very thin line which people must be able to distinguish.
والله مغنيك ودكتور وراتبك بكم، لكن هكذا كما قيل في ناس يحمل الدعوة وفي ناس تحملهم الدعوة باسم الدين حتى يكون مشهور له متابعين، ثم تشوفه عاد من دعاية لدعاية، مثل ذاك اللي يروح غزة ما شو دعاية ولا مطعم ولا مش عارف ليش، علشان فلوس. فلذلك حريصين جدا على المتابعين والأعداد، وحتى لجان الزكاة لما يعمل لها دعاية يقول لك الوقف الكبير ب10 دنانير، ولا يروح مكان فلاني وشوف ناس مرضى وناس اليمن ولا افريقيا وهذا مجاعة، كله له نسبته للأسف الشديد. نسأل الله العافية والله المستعان.
So, ending with this note, Sheikh Salem Taweel Hafidahullah then basically says about these XYZ basically Kuwaiti du'at that their issue basically is that they get paid very well. In the universities which they teach, they are basically PhD professors. So, but still they would basically the situation would be like that there are people who hold a da'wah, and there are people who da'wah holds them. That so these category of people, what they would basically do is like they are like zakat committees, there are charity organizations. Whenever they do an ad, basically to do tabarru in a particular project for 10 Kuwaiti dinars. Of course, 10 Kuwaiti dinars is around 120 Saudi riyals. That's it. So basically, so you will find these du'at basically being there. That's it. And of course, doing ads for them. And they won't do for free. They would have their percentage. That whatever money basically comes to you guys as in donations, I have this XYZ percentage in the contract, fixed, return. That's it. With the lawyer, signed in front of the lawyer. That's it. An attorney. Bob's plan. So basically, that's the issue. Is that like you, whenever you just now basically Sheikh Salem Taweel is speaking to these du'at in Kuwait, that why do you guys basically like insist on being there always basically for taking charity and basically hard earned money of the people along with that. So I believe there is much more to talk about this topic, but I believe if there is any brother out there who's listening to this, they could make a clip out of this, the translated part of what Sheikh Salem Taweel Hafidahullah has said, especially about what I've said regarding what happens in the West, right? And the names of individuals also I have mentioned. This is it. I have no regret, because I know that basically the fans of those individuals will come and attack, and basically I couldn't care less about those people, because for me, right, a Sharif Institute is upon the way of the Salaf. The ones who are upon the way of the Salaf and who are genuinely serious, right, for them a Sharif Institute is open. But for the ones who basically want to just take their deal from Muftari Bank, right, Abu Tami', then please exit. Please basically don't watch me anymore. Assalamu alaikum.